Hello, this is God or Science, part 2 of 2 parts. Thanks for joining me again. Do you actually think God hears your prayers? If He did, then He would stop the pain and despair and suffering on earth. Is that happening? No. When you pray for a loved one or yourself to be cured of a sickness, does God answer your prayers? No. But when your selfish mind thinks your prayer was answered, the results were only a coincidence and nothing more. No different than winning the lottery. But you go along patting yourself on the back, boasting to others that you prayed for them. And just by chance your wish came true, your prayer came true. You take all the credit for it because your prayer was specially answered by God. And that makes you feel loved by God. Very special. People, your prayers go no farther than the tips of your ears. I cringe when I hear humans say, I've been blessed. It was a miracle. That was God's plan. That was God's will. Why do you rely your whole life and blame the good and the bad on a God that you cannot touch, smell, see, or hear, when you should be taking full responsibility for your actions? Because it's too easy to blame something else, that's why. God is man-made. As humans, we have no idea where we came from or are going to. We need to believe in something to make our short existence on earth meaningful. So the concept of heaven and hell works for most humans. At least it's something to look forward to or not in the so-called afterlife. Ancient writings suggest that there were many prophets sent by God. So why would God send so many of His sons? At the time of Jesus, there was another prophet who also had a great following, who performed magic and supposedly healed the sick and levitated his own body. Maybe there was always a competition among men to become a self-induced prophet of God, and the best salesman would win. The acts of God in the ancient texts were all proved by science that they were natural occurrences on earth, understood now but not understood at the time. Organized religion has caused most human fatalities on the earth. It controls the masses by scaring you to death. It robs billions of dollars out of the pockets of the rich and especially the poor because they are brainwashed. But seeing how these religious leaders, especially the holy rolling evangelists, just suck the blood out of their followers is a crime in itself. That's terrorism. Then on the other hand, the ignorant people deserve it. They're too scared to take control of their own lives and pay the consequences for their own actions, so they just follow the masses. Speaking in tongues is the most ridiculous brainwashing of all times. What kind of weak humans can be so easily swayed into such an embarrassing act? It's just mind-boggling to think how many people out there are led by the nose and brainwashed. And then we have the Islamic fanatics that kill, maim, and destroy for Allah, for God, for their God. These cockroaches actually believe that there will be 72 virgins waiting for them at the gates of heaven. Ignorance is bliss. Years ago I read the entire Old Testament and also the New Testament. I at one time in my life lived wearing religious blinders. Jesus' way was the only way, the true way. The biblical writings do contain great philosophy on life. If there was only one thing to believe in the writings, the 10 Commandments would be it. They state the basic rules of life, but common sense would tell you that to begin with. Religion is great for those who can't find their way and need something to believe in. But would God condemn and send to hell millions of humans who do not believe in Him? A selfish, self-righteous dictator would do that. You must give yourself the privilege of taking off your religious blinders. Try it for a few months. Stop looking at the top of the rug and turn it over one time and study the bottom of the rug. When you stop believing and questioning what you see, read, and hear, then you will seek out the truth. You owe this to yourself as a human being. A few years ago I read 7 books from the library that were mostly about atheism and different views on God and science. I wanted to experience what the non-believer was thinking. Those books snapped the chain that I was locked in. It woke me up and made me realize that I too have been brainwashed and living with religious blinders on. I'll finish now. If you just have a little self-respect and pride, stop following the masses. You have a one life to live. Seek out the truth on your own, and not what the masses force you to believe in. You owe that to yourself. Have a good life. Thanks for your interest, and eat your vegetables.